Good morning and welcome to this live webinar being hosted by the Symbiosis Center for Media and Communication. My name is Anupam Siddhartha. I'm the director of the center, and I guess I'm addressing the applicants who are trying for an admission to our 2017-20 batch. Welcome, and let me start with an introduction. The Department of Media Studies at the undergraduate level was started by Symbiosis International University in 2008. We have close to 7 batches who have graduated from here, and we are generally regarded as the best mass comm college in the country. If we go by the annual India Today Nielsen surveys that are being conducted between 2012 till now, we have been ranked as #1. We'll come back to the ranking a little later. Let me also talk about the program and the process with which you can get admitted over here. The program that we offer is a 3-year full-time Bachelor of Arts in Mass Communication. The program is divided into 6 semesters of 6 months each, out of which students spend 4 months on campus and 2 months on the field. So in a sense, there are 6 semesters which are punctuated by 5 on-field work, which can be classified as an internship. Even during the semester, the students work on at least 1 to 2 live projects. Our courses are derived from faculties of humanities and social sciences, management, IT, design, and obviously from communication and all our specializations. So it is very eclectic in nature. The pedagogy itself is very, very innovative. So we have classroom lectures, tutorials, we have presentations, case studies, we have field trips, we have practicals, we have workshops, the work. What is the day like for a student over here? A typical day starts on the sports field between 7 and 9. We have options from football, volleyball, basketball, throwball, cricket. We have a gymnasium, aerobics floor, yoga shala. The theoretical classes happen between 9:30 and 1. Then we have a lunch break. Between 2 to 4:15 we have practicals. Thereafter we have a lot of extracurricular activities which go until 8. So you can participate in dramatics, music, dance, literary and debating activities. You can prepare for GRE or GMAT. You can learn a foreign language. The senior students conduct club activities in various specializations. A lot to do. So if you do make it till here, please expect a lot. What you shouldn't expect is a dull moment. And that could be very challenging indeed. But again, let me come back to that. I see a few questions based around that. So how does the progression happen? The progression is built like a pyramid. We start with a very strong academic base. The first year is common, the foundation year. Thereafter, in the second year, the students can choose to either take the discipline of mass communication or the discipline of communication management. The mass comm is for those students who want to create media messages. The communication management is for those students who want to handle businesses of communication-driven industries. In the third year, the student again has a choice. So the mass comm students may choose to either take journalism or audiovisual production, depending on whether he or she wants to create fictional or non-fictional messages. The communication management students may choose between advertising or public relations, depending on whether he or she wants to make covert or overt promotional messages. What is the process of getting in over here? Now that's a difficult one because we have a very large number of applicants. They have to take an aptitude test, which is objective, which happened yesterday, and most of you must have taken this test. After this, we will be shortlisting about 1,200 applicants who will invite towards the end of May and beginning of June for a second round. The second round comprises written subjective essay type response. It has a personal interaction. Please mind you, it's not an interview, it's merely an interaction come counseling session. And we have a studio test, which is very interesting. We'll give you a task. So we may give you several photographs, and we may ask you to arrange it in such an order so that it tells a story. You see, we can teach you the technique. You'll have to come to us with talent. So it's a test to see as to how creative you can be, how out of the box can you think, how cogent are your thought processes, how well you are able to disseminate information which you have built up or assimilated in your minds. Sorry if that became a little heavy. Let's come back to easier things. We'll dive into the questions. Please keep writing in with follow-up questions, and we'll try and attempt to answer as many as possible. Please also ask for clarifications. The first question is from Dr. Narang, who asks if we have some preference in admission to SCMC for students with a background of mass communication in 10+2 level. She informs us further that this subject was started by CBSE in the year 2006. As I just mentioned, we have a separate admission process which starts with the objective set SET and with the subjective second round, and there is no consideration to students having either studied arts, science, commerce, IB, what subjects they may have taken. Yes, there may be a possibility that depending on a few subjects that your child may have taken, he or she may be able to construct answers to our questions better. That goes without saying. Moving on, Shubham asks, does my child, it's very heartening to notice that we have a few parents here as well, and why not? You're the ones who would be supporting your children in this slightly different stream apart from the typical medicine, engineering, civil services, law, even management. Does my child have to pass an interview round to be admitted? What is the process? I just explained that after the objective written test, we have a subjective second round, which has a personal interaction cum counseling session. There is no interview. And yes, your child has to score a certain to a certain level to beat the others to come in over here. Preeta asks, how do we prepare for the second round if we get selected or shortlisted? Honestly, I don't think you can prepare for the second round. We are just trying to get to know as you are. Even if you prepare to tell us something that you are not, we'll eventually figure out, and that will not score any brownies with us. So just if you get shortlisted, just come down for the second round, have a look around this place, meet like-minded people, and enjoy. I can definitely assure you, whether you get in or not, you will have a very enjoyable experience being with us for those 2 to 3 hours that you spend during the second round. As I told you, there is a subjective written essay type response. There is a studio test where you'll be given a task, and there's a personal interaction counseling session, and no, you cannot prepare for that at all. So just relax. Ankita asks, I'm interested in getting admission in SCMC. I have repeated class 12th. So will the chances of me getting selected get reduced as compared to others who have appeared for class 12 only once? We are not looking at the class 12 scores at all, because for those students who have appeared for 10+2 examinations, their results will not be available to us by the time we are conducting our second round. So whether you took your 12th 5 years ago, this year, it doesn't matter to us. Please remember that we have lots of students who come to us after they have possibly tried something else, and they say engineering, and we have some dropouts. They drop out on the first, second year because they do not enjoy what they are doing. Something like Ranbir Kapoor in Tamasha. And they come to us, and they finally find the calling. They become, like in that film, the storytellers over here. Nikki asks, I want to apply for another program already registered for BA Mass Communication. I'm not sure that I understand this question perfectly. I think what you are trying to say is that you have already registered for BA Mass Comm at SCMC and you want to apply to some other place like maybe BBA at SCMS. Yes, you can absolutely do that. So you just log on to the same portal where you registered for SET, and you can register for as many programs as you want, which come under the SET General Test, which is BBA, economics, liberal arts, computer studies. I think so. Moving on, we have Sabil who asks, I want to do a short-term diploma course in advertising media. Sabil, I'm sorry, I cannot help you over here. I'm aware that there are several short-term courses which are available in various disciplines, and you'll have to search online to find something which suits your purpose. If you are posing this question to ask me for advice, let me advise you, like a grand old man, there are no shortcuts to success. So don't do a short-term course to look at big benefits out there. Go through the grind, persevere through the time, and you'll do much better. Priya asks, my child has already registered for SCMC. So are we supposed to post the application form to Pune? No, ma'am, you don't have to do that. Our entire admission process is online. So all you have to do is you have to go to the same portal where your child registered for SET, and you're supposed to register for SCMC and pay the application fee, and that's it. That's done. You don't have to post anything to us. Simran asks, what are the opportunities and the areas where we can practice? I'm not sure I understand this question in its entirety. Are you asking what you would be able to do after you complete the program? Or are you asking how you're going to prepare for the second round? Because we have questions about career opportunities, I can see them. I'll come down to that later. Let me try and address this question about how to prepare. I just told somebody a little earlier, and this would be uploaded on YouTube, this webinar. You can go back and check that answer. Don't worry, be yourself. You don't need to prepare, even if that means you don't get in. In fact, that would be good news. If you don't get in, that means that you shouldn't be here. You were not meant for this place. Or otherwise, you'll only be struggling. We want children over here who we want young adults over here who should be here and who are having a great time and who are enjoying our very, very strenuous program. Moving on. What documents are required along with the application form? At this moment, when you are registering for SCMC, you do not require to give us any documents. Yes, when you come down for the second round, if shortlisted, there would be a list of documents, and we will email to you about that entire list. If you want to learn about it earlier, you can go to our website and the entire list is given over there. Yashraj asks, what type of questions are asked in PIWAT, or personal interaction and WAT, which is written ability test? In fact, if you go to our website, we have put in a few sample questions over there. So just go to our website, go to the admission section and go to the application process, and you'll find over there, or go to the FAQs and you will find some sample questions that we have given over here. But let me tell you again, don't worry, just be yourself and enjoy the entire process. Moving on, Tanaz asks, does my child have to pass an interview round to be admitted? What is the process? Ma'am, I just explained this. If you can a little later, well, by the time this webinar is posted on YouTube, just go back and check the section. We have a second round of admission. The first round happened yesterday, which was an objective written test. The second round is subjective, where yes, there will be a personal interaction. And yes, your child will have to score better than others to get in over here. Please remember that we are only admitting about 71 students to the merit category. And we will be inviting about 1,200 for the second round from a humongous number of applicants who, I think, more than 40,000 who took the SET yesterday. Uday asks, after the declaration of the cutoff, will my son be given admission on first come, first served basis? No, I don't think you have had a look at the website, and the entire admission and the application process are explained over there. We are not functioning like a lot of universities. We have our separate entrance test, and after the cutoff, your child will be invited to come for a second round, which I have just explained, which comprises a writing ability test, a personal interaction, and studio test. Uday, again, sorry, this question has just been repeated. I'll just move on. Ujjwal, my daughter wanted to do mass communication. Does this course have good career prospects? Very difficult question. Suddenly, I think we have changed gears. So from admission process, we are now looking into career-based questions. Very difficult to answer this question because the word good is subjective by nature. Do you mean that the word good for you means somewhere where your child will be happy doing something while she goes to work? Do you mean that by good your child is successful in what he or she does? Or do you mean by good that your child is making a lot of money? It's difficult to answer that question. Let me take help from Rajkumar Hirani. I don't know if you have seen the Three Idiots, where at one point of time R. Madhavan goes to Parichet Sahni, who's playing his father, and he says, मैं बन भी गया तो बहुत बुरा इंजीनियर बनूंगा, मुझे इंजीनियरिंग नहीं समझ में आती है. Then the father asks, कमाओगे कितना उस जंगल में? He is supposed to go on an internship in the Amazon, and he says, stipend ज़्यादा नहीं है, पर सीखने को बहुत कुछ मिलेगा, और मैं खुश रहूंगा, और आपके लिए जो भी करूंगा खुशी से करूंगा. You need to understand this paradigm shift which is coming in over here. Times are changing. We are not only looking at success in terms of material gains. We are also looking at work-life balance. Is success only about how much money I have made? And please mind you, there's enough money to be made here as well. We have a Yashraj studio, which is very successful. We have a lot of big corporate houses. Media houses which have become as big as any corporate houses, which are Ben & Coleman, for example, which are very, very successful enterprises. But maybe it will take some time for your child to reach at that level. But what is more important is how many people, and again, I'm taking help from film. I teach film, so I'm sorry, I'll use a lot of examples from films. I don't know if you've seen a film made by Zoya Akhtar called Luck by Chance. It ends in a particular scene where Konkana Sen Sharma is going to work, and she says, आज मुझे सिर्फ इस बात की खुशी नहीं है कि मैं रोज सुबह उठ के काम पे जाती हूँ. मुझे इस बात की खुशी है कि मैं ऐसे काम के लिए जाती हूँ जिससे मुझे खुशी मिलती है. Now you need to understand this paradigm shift which has come over since our generation. I hope you and I belong to baby boomers, and to this, which is possibly millennial generation X, Y, Z maybe, who want to be happy about what they do. And that's good, because if you're happy, you'll work more, you'll work well. It's a win-win situation for you as a worker, for the company that you're working, and for your clients as well. So yes, there are a lot of opportunities. So our students would work in newspapers, news agencies, news channels, news portals. They'll work for television, general entertainment channels. They'll work for production houses, filmmaking companies, advertising film houses, They could be working in advertising agencies, public relations agencies. They could be working in marketing communications division or corporate communication divisions of corporate houses. Yes, lots of opportunity. They could work in the social media arena, which is growing by leaps and bounds. So a lot of opportunities, honestly. I mean, just think about your life from the time that it starts in the morning. You pick up a newspaper and you continuously keep getting information on your phone, on your radio, on your laptop, and you end the day possibly watching something on television. So you're surrounded by media, and all the people who are creating this information for all these channels are the people that we are training, and your child may join them. Moving on. Archie asks, can you name a few media channels that come for placements for journalism group students? What has been the placement record for journalism students? Good question. So rather than me give you an entire list of the publications or channels or portals who come to us, I think it will serve you better if you just spend a little time on our website. So there is a section called careers on the website. If you go over there, we have listed that a few top organizations where our students are working, and that will help you better. Suroshri asks, can I get into travel journalism by studying the mass communication course offered by SCMC? Again, a very difficult question, and I cannot answer this. What I can answer is that yes, we can train you to be a journalist, but will you become a travel journalist? Will you have a skill set which are specific for a travel journalist? It's difficult to say. Now, I know where you're coming from. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you're looking at a role model again in Ranveer Kapoor from Ye Jawani Hai Diwani. I know it's a very, very romantic notion that you travel the world, you do your own thing, and you get paid for it. And a lot of people do. But whether you'll get over there depends on the opportunities which are available and whether you hone your skills well enough to get there. Yes, some of our students have been there. And can I ensure that you get there? No, I cannot. But I can definitely train you. But we'll require a lot of effort from you as well, and we'll also require the opportunities to come to you at exactly the right moment. Difficult question to answer. Moving on, Harshita asks, career guidance for my daughter who's appearing for class 12 this year. Mrs. Anand, that's a little early in the day, but good that you're at least thinking about it. So what career guidance should I give you? I think the ideal thing to do would be for your child to figure out as to A, what is she good at? What are her strengths? And B, where do her interests lie? What is she like doing? What is she good at doing? What does she enjoy doing? What does she find easy? What do other people say? Do other people say that she does something well, better than others? Now, you need to have an assessment like this. And then, fortunately for the generation of our children, all the information is already out there on the World Wide Web. During our times, it was very difficult. We had to go to a library and possibly walk several miles before even being sure that we'll get the information that we will, but your child can. So then let your child explore opportunities which are there on the World Wide Web and figure out as to what she wants to do. One other thing that I could recommend is taking a psychometric test. Not exactly accurate, but a good way to figure out as to where should your child invest his or her strengths in. Moving on. So we have Ishan who asks, what are the career opportunities in the field of mass communication and what are the expected pay package? Good question. Can I also direct you to our website? Now, if you go back to the section which says career, there is a separate subsection called career prospects, and I have written it in a very detailed manner. It will be better if you just go over it slowly rather than me rattling it off right now, which I in fact did a little while earlier. And you'll find all the other details about placement, the organizations and pay packages which are mentioned over there. Moving on, Chandra, can you give us a little more brief on cyber media course and what are the career prospects in cyber media? Now, good that you're asking this, because this is the primary focus area for your age group. If you look at a prospective employer who would possibly be in our age group, your parents' age group, our generation looks at your generation as being very savvy with the new media, or cyber media, or online media, or digital media, or social media, whatever you may call it, because you grew up with it. We didn't. So we had this skill for us is acquired. For you, it is almost, it was as if, you know, you were born with a latent talent for it. So we find employing youngsters in these areas as a better prospect, because you're more adept at it, you quickly adapt to the changing scenario. So this is the ideal area in which you should invest your energies. So if you just look at any corporate house, you'll realize that every entity will have a website. Now, the moment an entity has a website, that website has to be designed, the content has to be generated, both visual and written, and with the changing technology and applications, it has to be updated and it has to be tuned to the new requirements. So, for example, the websites can also be tuned to appear in a certain way on different platforms. It should appear in a certain way on a laptop. It should appear on a different way on a tablet or a cellular telephone. So it has to be designed differently, and it should be able to do that automatically. There will be you will also realize that a lot of corporate houses, in fact all or every entity, will have their presence on several social media sites. So they'll have a Facebook page, they'll have a Twitter handle, they'll have an Instagram account, they'll have a YouTube channel, and so on and so forth. They'll have a blog. Now, the moment they have it, and this is my generation, which is not very savvy with this new world, so we'll require people who'll write these blogs. We'll require people who'll tweet. We'll require people who'll take photographs for our Instagram account. We'll require people who'll create posts for our Facebook and engage our audiences, stakeholders, and clients, and continue interacting with them. So there's a huge world out there waiting for you to go and explore. And several people like us who are in a position to employ you, and we'll be grateful if you take up these opportunities and do a wonderful job of it. So this is exactly the area that you should be focusing on, whether here or anywhere. But your generation should not let this opportunity go amiss. Moving on. Akansh asks, how can I get admission in SCMC in electronic line, like news reporter or news reader? Let me rephrase this for you a little. I think what you're asking is that once you get admitted over here, then how do you go about being a broadcast journalist? Now, our training is about journalism per se, and we'll also teach you as to how should you approach print, radio, television, or online media per se. Thereafter, depending on the opportunities which are available at the time that you graduate, you may be recruited by either a print publication house or a broadcast house or an online portal, and then you'll have to practice therein. Now, whether you go on to become a reporter or the field, or you go on the desk, or whether you do get a break to be an anchor is difficult to predict. It will again depend on the opportunities and depends on how well you are doing. Please remember that we have very stiff competition in these areas, so it will depend on how well you perform better than others. Moving on. So Mukta Deep asks, how will a mass communication degree at SCMC help someone who wants to be a filmmaker? How can one proceed after getting the degree in becoming a filmmaker? Again, a very difficult question. So what is the center trying to do? The center is trying to help you understand what the medium is, how are films made, how can you make them, and they'll tell you about the various aspects. So how do you operate a camera? How do you record sound? How do you edit? How differently should you write a story for a film as opposed to, say, story for print? How are you going to organize people in a space, in a 3D space to appear in a 2D space? How you're going to narrate this to an audience, and so on and so forth. This is the part of the training. Thereafter, again, it will depend on the opportunities which are available in 2020 when you graduate, where you will be gainfully occupied. And the position that you'll be occupied in, please don't think that the moment you graduate, you will be making Fast and Furious Part 20. No, that would not happen on day one. It may even take 5, 10, 15 years by the time you reach there. Yes, I know, you can tell me that Orson Welles made Citizen Kane when he was 25, but that was Orson Welles. You could be the next one, but provided you are not, you'll have to struggle. You'll possibly get a job as an assistant director or a production assistant, or you could be an editing assistant, though camera assistant is a difficult prospect. You could be in the writing department, you could be doing a lot of many other things. Again, depending on how well you work. As compared to others who are also working along with you, you'll slowly rise in the ranks. Yes, you have to be patient, ask your parents, they'll tell you the same story. And finally, one day, you will possibly do this. To help you, let me explain that by the time your generation is doing this, the entire process has been democratized. So there was a time when we were going out in the industry, it was very difficult to make a film because we had to make it on film, and which was very expensive. Now, of course, anybody can make a film. All you have to do is you can make a film on your mobile camera, you can make a film on a handy cam, and there are a lot of platforms available for it. So people are making films or television or programs for digital outlets, for which can be produced over your laptops, tablets, and mobile phones. And there are a lot of other opportunities. So people are not generally just making film. They're making different kind of programs. So if you look at, say, an effort like the viral fever, for example, then that's a whole world out there. So a lot of opportunities. So just explore on the net and you'll realize what I'm talking about. It's a very big world out there right now. Moving on. This is Dhruv. I want to be a film critic. Media and communication fields help in which way to nurture it. Now, the way I look at it, if you want to be a film critic, then you will have to pursue journalism with an interest in film and television. So basically, a film critic is a journalist. So if you say look at Mayank Shekhar, he's a journalist, or if you look at Rajiv Masan, he's a journalist, which they have specialized in the field of film and television. So apart from nurturing your journalism skills, you also need to understand the medium of film and television. Not necessarily how they are made, but definitely how they are structured. So you need to appreciate films in the way they should be. You should understand as to why a certain film is structured in the way it is. You should also be exposed to a lot of classics so that you can compare them with the kind of films which are being made today. So that when you're giving a verdict to your audiences whether they should watch this film or not, it should be a balanced verdict. You can't be seriously watching films for the past 2 years to comment on it. You have to quickly update yourself with films that have been made in the past 100 years to tell the audiences in that perspective that yes, this film is a good investment for you to go out, spend time and money to watch and entertain and enjoy yourself, or not. Also remember that as I was just telling Muktadeep a little while earlier, that there are a lot of opportunities. So don't only look at, say, Mayank Shekhar writing for earlier for a particular newspaper, or now for a particular news portal, or Rajiv Masand, who's now on CNN News 18. You can have a lot of film criticism which are happening on YouTube, which are happening on various websites. You could write blogs over it. So again, a lot of opportunities for you there. But I hope you have interest in this field, and if you have, then you'll do well. Moving on. I want to become a video jockey or anchor. So what should I pursue with? Mass comm is also divided in departments. Which field should I join? It would be great if you let me know. Thank you. Okay, this is Neha. Neha, if you want to be a video jockey or an anchor, I don't think you have to do mass communication, though of course doing mass communication will help you understand the world that a video jockey or an anchor exists in. So it'll be easier for you, but I really don't see any reason that if you are presentable and if you speak well, if you know your subject, why do you need to go through this at all? You can just try out your opportunities with the various platforms which are available. But yes, a good, robust, sound education will always help you, even to interact with your fellow colleagues and understand your work and business better. Moving on, Bhavna. Is the bachelor's program substantial enough to empower the graduate for employment? What are the various prospects? Elucidate. Good question. Yes. Let me take some time to answer this. When we created this Bachelor of Arts in Mass Communication program, we tried to offer our stakeholders something more valuable than what was already available. What we observed at point of time was that at the undergraduate level, the attempt was to make you understand the concepts about media studies. And at the postgraduate level, you were able to apply them in a practical and a real life situation. So what we thought was that because we had a lot of applicants, and because we had to select only a few, and these few were very good and they were hungry for more, so we decided to give them more. So we created a program where we integrated these two aspects. So not only will you get a very sound theoretical, wide, robust background or foundation, you'll build upon it the practical aspects and how to apply it in real life situations. So yes, by the time you graduate, you'll be ready for employment, and our recruiters are very, very thankful for the graduates that go to them. But I would also suggest that after you've worked for a couple of years, you can pause, take a just study the situation and decide whether you want to continue working or you want to go for further studies and take a break, study further, come back, your choice. Moving on. You also want to know about the prospects, which I've already talked about earlier. This webinar will be uploaded on YouTube in a while, and you could scroll back and have a look, or you can go to our website and all the prospects are listed there. Soumya asks, sir, I would like to know about the various career options in the field of journalism in both print media and electronic media. Also, I want to know about what all a person should possess in order to advance in that field. Good question. But then again, I think I have answered most of it. Again, suggesting if you go to the career section of the website, you'll find everything listed over there. But just to summarize this, in journalism, there are basically two kinds of jobs. You can either be in the field or be a reporter, or you can be on the desk, so be a sub-editor or in the production. So this would depend on your interest and the ability or the skill set that you pick up. And no matter in which area you practice this, these two subsections will exist in print, in broadcast, online. So please remember that there is a section of people who would possibly go out there and get information and try to disseminate it in the most lucid form. And there'll be others who'll sit down and organize this, cut it down into shorter forms, putting in a headline, designing it in a particular way, or shooting, editing, sound recording, or again, putting out the layout of a web or a news portal page. So there are these primarily two areas, and it depends on what you're interested in and what skill set you'll eventually imbibe, which will help you take up either one of these two streams. Moving on, Aryaman, what are the prospects of doing mass communication in this day and age? What are Aryaman? Are you suggesting that mass communication is passé, and you're wondering as to what is the point of doing this age-old thing in this day and age? No, let me tell you, mass communication is not passé. In fact, mass communication is pretty young. If you think about it, the education of mass communication started merely 100 years ago. Yeah, I know, you must have filched by hearing 100 years ago, but if you look at it, the education of philosophy is more than 3,000 years old. So compared to that, mass communication is rather young. We've been practicing only for 100 years. Films began in 1895, radio came in the 1920s, 30s, television even later. So, and as you compare to this, painting, for example, as a form of communication started 20,000 years ago. So we are rather young. What are some of the good postgraduate programs which are in demand today? And what are the job opportunities? Job opportunities I've already spoken about. I don't know whether I should talk about the postgraduate programs because we are an undergraduate degree program. But generally, it is considered that MICA is very good with communication management, especially advertising. ACJ is very good at journalism. The postgraduate program at Symbiosis is also very good in all the disciplines. It has been consistently ranked amongst the top 10 for the past several years now. Right now, it's ranked number 2 in the country. If you are interested in film, FTI definitely is the best place to go to. Moving on. Somirendra, what is the best place to start out as a fresher? Broadcast or print? So you're obviously talking about journalism, and if you take my advice, print is the best place to start out because it's the more difficult one. Not that broadcast is easy, but the kind of grounding that you'll get in training in print will help you later doing anything. Of course, opinions and judgments over these are changing, so please don't count on me. Do whatever works well for you. Moving on. Prashant, what is the recommended path for sports journalism? A little while ago, earlier, we were talking about travel journalism. So it's a similar answer over here. We are training you about the journalism per se, the skill set that you require to pursue your career as a journalist. Then later, if you want to get into a niche area like sports, that will depend on your interest and your information level. So to begin with, obviously you should be interested in all kinds of sports and not only cricket. And you should be well informed so that people who listen to you should be willing to listen to you, that you are able to add something new. So if you are going to talk about, say, a clay court, you should be able to tell your audiences as to how that clay court is different from a grass court, and how does a ball bounce higher on the grass court, and that is why the player rushes up to the net when his opponent has served, and on the clay court he decides to stay on the baseline. Now, unless you have that kind of information, your commenting will not help because your audiences will not be interested in listening to you. So it depends on your interest and your information level to keep your audiences engaged. Moving on. What is the scope of mass communication if I go into consulting? say management consulting. This is Sanjana. Sanjana, I really don't know. If you're talking about becoming a management consultant with an organization like KPMG or Deloitte or Anderson, I don't know. I mean, they only hire from Ivy League colleges. But there could be consulting on various parameters. So for example, a lot of our students would be working with agencies who will be consulting, whose consultation will be sought by companies about their communication strategies. How does the various social media platforms need to be engaged? How should the website look? What should be the internal communication be like? Should we have a corporate film? Should we have a newsletter? So there is a lot of consultation which is provided by various communication agencies, and yes, you could super specialize in that. But if you're thinking in terms of a general management consulting, HR and OB should be the area where you should specialize in. Orco, I guess, is asking what kind of a job can I get with a degree with SCMC? We've already discussed this. You just scroll back on the YouTube and you'll figure out. Also, come to our website and it's listed there. Ramanpreet. Okay, as we know, our country is second on the list where people are inclined not to trust their own media, according to the survey of World Economic Forum. Yes, that's right, unfortunately. What are your incentives to forbid the cause and to change mentality? Utkarsh, this is a generic question. This is something we should discuss in a classroom, in a journalism classroom. So once you get admitted over here, please ask me this question and we'll have a good engagement. But just to address this, have you looked at the list that you're talking about? There are the first world is there as well. So US is there in the top 10, UK is there in the top 10, Australia is number 1. So I'm not aware as to the parameters which have been used for this survey. Now, generally, organizations like BBC and all have been traditionally considered to be very, very credible. Though, of course, there are other channels that you could listen to which give a very different perspective, like Al Jazeera, and you should. The fact also remains that yes, a lot of our, at least television news channels, and there are some 400 of them in our country, who have been a little more inclined towards TRPs and breaking news, and at times there are stories which are sensational in nature. This is a battle which we are trying to wage as well as fight against. So on one hand, our students are also being unfortunately trained in how to be better, and this unfortunately is taking the shortcut to becoming better, and we are also training them in ethics and what is right and what is the right kind of journalism. You'll be very happy to know that at least 4 of our former students from Symbiosis have been Ramnath Goenka Award winners. So that means there are people out there who are doing good work, really good work, and they're being recognized for this, and there are several others whose work has not been recognized yet. So yes, there is an attempt, and we alone can't wage this. The people also have to shun this information. The moment people in general will start shunning this information, the channels will not provide it to them. I know it's an easy way out, but yes, we are also committed to trying to change it. We are hoping that your generation of journalists will possibly make better journalism. Moving on, Prashant, what is the difference between journalism and mass media communication? This is again something that we should be discussing in our classrooms. Communication is the process. I have a thought, like I have an answer to your question, and I want to give it to you. Now I'm using this device, this microphone here, the microphone, the lavalier embedded inside my jacket, and this camera in front of me, and the entire paraphernalia around this place to communicate this to you. That is the media. The newspaper is the media, the television channel is the media, the radio is the media, the pamphlet, the billboard is the media, the film is the media. The process of telling you this is communication. I hope I got across to you. When you are here, we'll spend a lot more time to explaining this to you. Moving on, Navneet. Do you have uniforms as in schools or the casuals, dress code? Interesting question. So yes, we do have a dress code because there are a lot of our recruiters who have a dress code as well, and in trying to prepare you for that eventuality, there is a dress code. Yes, we'll share it with you when you get admitted. Please remember, don't treat this as a college. Please treat this as a professional training center. So to explain this to you, again, I'll use an example from a film. Don't look at this as a college campus in Mehuna, to give you a popular example from a Shah Rukh Khan film, and to correlate that, look at it more as the hockey training camp in Chak De India. So we are more Chak De India and less Mehuna. Does the SCMC campus and hostels there have a Wi-Fi facility? Yes. The website cite two different fee structures. What exactly is a fee structure? Again, Navneet, I'm not able to follow your question. The website doesn't specify two different fee structures unless you're confused between the tuition fee and the hostel fee. The hostel is optional. Or you're confused between the tuition fee for our program and the tuition fee for an international student. Yes, they are different, because the international students have to pay in USD and the Indian students have to pay in INR. So yes, they are different structures, but it's there on the website. So just go to the fee structure and you'll find it there. It's written there in public domain. Moving on, Nand Kishore. Are there any extracurricular activities offered in college? Yes, I just told in my introduction. If you can just scroll back on this webinar on the YouTube channel, when it's uploaded, you'll find them there. Shritam, can I be a day scholar, or is it compulsory to stay in the hostel? Of course you can be a day scholar. This is not a residential campus. Our postgraduate program is, and you can choose to stay in the hostel, or you can choose to stay out on your own, or if you're a localite, with your family and travel back and forth. Most welcome. Parshuram, do you have sports facilities in college? Is there a sports quota? No, we don't have a sports quota, but we have sports facilities. If you again scroll back to the beginning of this webinar, you'll in my introduction I spoke about the various sports facilities. I actually only spoke about the outdoor sports facilities like soccer, cricket, volleyball, throwball, and basketball. We also have a lot of internal sports facilities. If you go to our website, you'll find all these details there. Niharika, hello, I can write stories and songs. I'm not that good at writing poems. A counselor suggested me to take up mass communication. I want to know how can I use my writing skills in this field. Writing is one of the major skill set that we train our students in. And if you have an interest in writing, there are a lot of things you can do. A journalist, a print journalist writes. All the people who work in the social media platforms, they write. The scripts of film and television serials are written. The advertising copies are written. All the internal communication that a corporate communication official does is written. So yes, a lot of writing. So if you're good at writing, most welcome. But if you are interested in fictional writing, then maybe you need to explore again. For example, if you're interested in writing novels, then you should possibly do something else. Then I would suggest that you should do a normal graduation in literature in English, and or literature in general, and that would help you understand what kind of stories have been written already and which format. Though we also have a course in literature, but that's only for information. Mahipal, how are students evaluated during the program? interesting question. It's also listed on the website, but let me talk about it. Several ways. So you have take-home assignments, you have classroom presentations, you have projects, you have internships, you have field trip reports, various ways. You our course in theater would want you to perform, or courses in web design would ask you to design a website. You would be recording in video news bulletin. You'll bring out a print newsletter. You'll be maintaining a online news portal. You'll be making films. You'll be conducting events. You'll be making ad films, creating, strategizing ad campaigns, various things. Divya, how different is the liberal arts program in Symbiosis as compared to the media degree? Let me take some time to explain this. When we started our program, just a moment, I think the hour is up. We need to upload the disk again, right? Do we need to pause and upload the next disk? We have time? Okay, fine, great. Because it's a long answer, so I was just wondering. So when we introduced these professional programs at the undergraduate level, the reason to do that was that we were getting a lot of queries from school-going children, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, about professional programs. That's when we thought that maybe the new generation is finding a calling in life earlier. We came across students who way back in the 7th standard had already made up their minds that they wanted to be a journalist or a filmmaker or an advertising professional. Now Symbiosis started by offering a lot of postgraduate professional programs way back in the 70s, but it was only in the current century, in the 21st century, that we thought about offering programs in undergraduate level, in professional for a professional occupation. Now while we did that, and we had a lot of people applying, we already have over a lakh of students who have applied for our undergraduate programs this year. Now we realized that some of them were not very sure as to what they want to do. That is when we thought that we should have a much more extensive, relaxed program where students can come in and try out various different things, and in that process figure out as to what they want to do. So the liberal arts program was born out of that thought or need. If you are absolutely certain what you want to do, come here, the media course. If you are not sure as to what you want to do, whether you want to do media, whether you want to go for civil services, whether you want to be a counselor, take the liberal arts program, and it will give you that space to explore yourself, try out various things. It's a 4-year program, and very liberally spaced out. But come to here if you know that, again going back to the Chuck the India example, if you want to be a hockey player, this is a very good hockey training camp. Yes, within hockey you can figure out whether you want to be in the front, you want to be a goalie, you want to be in the center. You have that choice. But if hockey is your passion or media is your passion, come here. If you're not sure what your passion is, go to the liberal arts program. That's also a wonderful program. Good afternoon and welcome back to this live webinar being hosted by the Symbiosis Center for Media and Communication. I'm Anupam Siddhartha, Director of the Center, and I'm attempting to answer questions that you have been posting online. So the last question that we took up was Neelam's, how do I judge whether a media and communication degree suits me the best? And I was recommending that you go for a psychometric test, which not exactly as you would expect, but definitely a very good way to figure out which way you should be headed. Harsh asks me next, how would you compare SCMC with other colleges like Xavier's Institute of Communication, Indian Institute of Mass Communication, amongst others? Harsh, you are putting me on a spot over here. I would like to desist from answering that question. Actually, you are behaving a little like my mother. When she is buying vegetables, she asks the vegetable vendor itself भैया ये आपके सब्जी ताजे होंगे क्या? Absolutely wrong kind of question to answer. I would obviously be telling you about the strengths that our center has, which I already have. And I do believe that it's a unique undergraduate program which blends the theoretical understanding of an undergraduate program with the practical application of a postgraduate program. And we've been doing very well. The other organizations are also very renowned. Xavier's, which has both a postgraduate and undergraduate program, has been in the reckoning for a very long period of time, and they're also very well ranked amongst the top 10. The Indian Institute of Mass Communication only offers diploma programs at the postgraduate level, but it's a beautiful campus. I've taught there, and they have also been ranked amongst the top 10 for a very long period of time. Moving on, Akshul asks, is there a difference in quality of education between Noida and Pune campus? Again, you're putting me on a spot over here. And more than that, I think this question is only applicable to students who are applying for law and management, because Noida only offers law and management. It doesn't offer a media program. Rahul, is there a sort of exchange program? Do students get opportunity to know foreign culture? Yes, good question. We have an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding, with close to about 100 universities abroad. The entire list is there on the SCIA, Symbiosis Center for International Education website. And our students get a lot of opportunities for exchange programs. Let me tell you one of the best that we had. So we have an understanding with the Nanyang Technological University in Singapore, and some of our students have gone there for an entire semester. The program is sponsored by an organization called Tamasek, and they spend close to about 20 lakhs per student. And it's a wonderful experience where there are 40 students in this class. The class itself is called LEARN. It's an acronym, LEARN. I don't remember the full form, I'm sorry. And they do a project with the UN. Lovely opportunity. Students have also gone to other places. We have several students who have come from abroad and studied over here. We have students from US, we have students from Austria, Australia, Singapore, Japan, South Korea, France, Italy, who have come and studied over here. Obviously a lot from Southeast Asia and the Middle East and Africa. Moving on, Abhinav. Sir, my child wants to do a BA in mass communication, so what type of practical knowledge would you provide to students? So your child, sir, would learn apart from writing for various disciplines. He would learn several softwares, designing softwares like InDesign, Quark Express, for newspaper, for advertising, creative. He would learn Photoshop, Illustrator, Dreamweaver, CorelDRAW, animation like Flash, After Effects. The student will learn how to operate a camera, record sound, edit, would learn how to make films, make video news bulletins, and maintain online news portals, newsletters, create ad films, ad strategies, conduct events, create corporate communication strategies. In fact, we are at this moment sitting in our studio, and I'll just request my camera person, my colleague over here, to show you around the kind of facilities we have, and you'll understand. In which time I'll move on to the next question while he is panning the camera across. So moving on, then we have Anuj. Anuj, just wait a moment. Let the camera pan across to this Chroma Studio with a green screen. The green screen is replaced with any visual that we can hand, and there you can see all the lights, overhead lights, which are making my image visible to you. So coming back to Harsh, how do you compare, we went to Anuj. What are the accreditation that SCMC has earned? Valid question. The only accreditation that we need to have is the one from NAC, National Assessment and Accreditation Council, which comes and assesses and accredits educational institutions, organizations, universities every 5 years. In 2009, we were accredited with an A. grade. In 2015, we were again accredited with an A grade. Apart from this, if you want to ever figure out whether the degree that you're going to earn from a university in India is valid or not, you can go to the website of AIU. And once you go over there, you just scroll down the list of universities there and click upon it. If it shows that program, that means that the degree is valid. Apart from this, you could also go to the UGC website, which has listed all the fake universities. So this is a good Jago Grahak Jago initiative from your end. Adarsh, what are the unique features of Symbiosis degree programs? This is what I've been speaking about throughout, that it's a unique blend of academic and professional training. Apart from whatever I've just spoken about, our students go on a field trip every month. So the center conducts about 52 field trips in a year for 7 different sections that we have. We have a lecture cum demonstration in Indian classical performing art every month. We have a competitive event between the 3 batches, first year, second year, third year every month, and a lot of other initiatives apart from 5 internships and 9 projects and close to about 100 guests coming from the industry every year, 72 courses, the works. Manoj asks, what foreign language can my child study at SCMC? Now, depending on the number of students who are interested, we have offered additional courses in Spanish, in French, and in Deutsch. And if again this year we have enough number of willing participants, we can offer a few foreign language courses. Vaishali, what is the academic load during a semester? So you need to understand where this is coming from. So for an undergraduate program, the UGC or the University Grants Commission has mandated that 30 hours of contact classes must be held every week. So we have 5 1-hour classes every day from Monday to Saturday, that is 30 hours. The UGC has also mandated that the students must work for another 10 to 20 hours on practicals or assessments. So every week you will have at least 2 assignments for which you will require to put in a few hours. You will obviously be required to revise whatever you have studied and study further. Every fortnight there is a test. So the academic load is a lot. In the sense that over here, when you call yourself a student or a trainee, you will very well mean it, because the maximum amount of time that you spend over here would be in studying and getting trained. Let me be frank with you over here. If for any reason you want your college life to be easy, then you should definitely be looking at a different place. Over here you'll have a lot of work, but let me also assure you that it will be decidedly difficult but richly rewarding. We are firm, but we are fair. So you would see a lot of happy faces on campus and will be very surprised that they will be slogging it out. But the reason why they will be happy is because they're enjoying the work that they're slogging out with. If you enjoy what we do, if you will continue to enjoy this for at least 40 years of your professional life, come here, be in this field. Otherwise, research a little more, ask around a little more, explore a little more, and figure out where you should be. Sanjeet, when will the new academic session begin? This is the first week of July. It's there on the website, the dates. Which are the major specializations being offered? Dhwani, I've already explained earlier. If you scroll back on the YouTube where this webinar is going to be posted. Journalism, audiovisual production, advertising and public relations. Janesh, this is a long question. Sir, the SAT general paper has a quantitative section, and being a humanities student, maths has never been my strong suit. I have aspired to study at SCMC for long, but preparing for the mathematics is proving to be a task for me. Is it important to score good in the quantitative section? along with all the other sections to make the cutoff list, or it can be overlooked so that more focus can be given to the other sections to ensure a better overall score. Janesh, this is a concern we have faced for a very long period of time. A lot of people are under the impression that a creative field does not require a quantitative bent of mind. And on the face of it, it does sound believable. But believe me, we have conducted several research with over 65,000 participants at one go. And we have found that there is actually no correlation between these two concepts. In fact, we have noticed that people who score well on every field, so be it general awareness, verbal ability, analytical and logical reasoning, and quantitative, people who generally score well in all these four sections are the ones who do well over here and later in life. Now, you may say that how does it relate? I mean, analytical and logical reasoning, shouldn't we be thinking illogically so that we can come out with new concepts, think out of the box? I mean, for example, if Harry Potter was being logical, then there would be no Harry Potter. How is maths important in writing poetry? But please believe me, and you can ask your science teachers and they'll tell you, the more different things that the human mind does, the more robust and the more creative, the more out of the box and the more varied and creative it becomes. The moment you start doing the same kind of thing is when your mind starts constricting itself. In fact, for us, the aging people, it is recommended that we try out a new hobby, a new sport, maybe trying to change the hand with which we use the mouse of our laptops, the computer, to help regain the robustness of our mind, or the gray cells will keep killing itself. So I don't see any relation over here, and there is enough number of research to prove it. Also remember, if you're writing a poem, you would be writing it in some kind of a meter, say iambic pentameter, for example. There you are, the marriage of literature and mathematics. Shagnik, I'm associated with films as an actor since early childhood and acted in significant roles with renowned directors like Buddhadev Das Gupta, Rituparno Ghosh and Aparna Sen. I'm keen to learn technical part of films and work as assistant director. So what specialization should I opt for? That's wonderful news, Shagnik, that you've been associated with such filmmakers who have been following very keenly and have enjoyed their work very well. You'll be very happy to know that Mr. Dasgupta's daughter was a student of mine, and of course she went on to specialize in advertising. Over here, the choice is very simple and clear for you. If you want to be progress as an assistant director and then later become a filmmaker on your own, you should take the AV specialization or audiovisual specialization. Mansi, what is the difference between the courses of BA in Mass Comm and BMM? Mansi, there is no difference between these programs. Please understand that course is the technical word for a subject or a module. Several modules or subjects or courses come together to make a program. So, say literature is a subject or a course or a module. Literature along with economics, sociology, journalism, AV, advertising, all these courses put together makes a program, which is a BA in Mass Comm. The BMM, or the Bachelor's in Multimedia, is a nomenclature which was being used by the Mumbai University, and their program is very similar to ours. So are other programs which have slightly different nomenclature, like BJMC, Bachelor of Journalism and Mass Communication, or BMC, Bachelor of Mass Communication, or even VisCom, Visual Communication. In fact, there has been notification in 2014 by the UGC that all these courses should now be renamed as Bachelor of Arts, and I'm sure all these universities will comply in some time. Navneet, where do we go for internships and what do we do there? You can choose wherever you want to go. So at the end of every semester, we take preferences from students, and then we contact these organizations and we ask them if they would want a student from us to intern at their places. If they agree, then you go over there and you do whatever work which is assigned to you over there. So if you're going to the development sector, then you'll be volunteering. When you go to the industry, then you will be doing related work. Shlok. What subjects will we learn in the first year and later in the mass communication field? Shlok, I'll skip this. There is a section called academics on our website. A very elaborate write-up over there as to what you'll study in each year, and I would request you to just have a look at that, and we also need to wrap up this webinar. Ganesh, what was the cutoff for SCMC last year in SET? Ganesh, this is a thought which will perplex you. The cutoff from last year or the year before that should not be an indication at all. Each year the cutoff is different. It depends on the difficulty level of the SET exam that year. It also depends on the collective intelligence of the group which is taking this exam. So the exam is already over. So just wait till the results are being declared in the next fortnight or so. And if you get shortlisted, come down over here, have a good time. If you get selected, great. If you don't get selected, great. Mansi, or maybe I should clarify, why am I saying great for everything? If you get selected over here, you get to study at the best mass comm college in the country. If you don't get selected here, I'm sure you'll go and study somewhere else. But please remember that you will do what you are made to do. The organization, the center, a college, a training institute can only work as a catalyst. The amount of hard work that you put in, the amount of talent that you bring on board will be yours. So if you work hard, you will do well whether you study here or anywhere else. Mansi, I want to write a novel after 10 to 15 years. What kind of course and job should I take up after my graduation? Mansi, if you want to write a novel, I suggest that if that is what you want to do, I suggest that you study literature. And that will help you understand people from across the globe in the past whatever number of years, at least 3,000 years, that we know that people are writing stories. What kind of stories they have written, how they have written it, that will give you a great understanding to launch yourself as a novelist. Of course, you can come here as well. It's a wonderful program. We will teach you a lot of things, but not specifically to be a novelist. Though we have a course in creative writing, and we also have a course in literature and literary criticism, and there will also be courses in sociology and economics and political science and psychology, which will give you a great understanding about the world around you. But if you take my advice, do graduation in literature. Apurva. What are the timings of classes for SCMC? Apurva, just scroll back to the beginning of the webinar. It's there. Sanjana, can you tell us about the internship we must do and what will be one's experience at an internship? I've already spoken about it, but let me elaborate. So there are 5 internships at the end of each semester. There are 6 semesters, so 5 breaks. The first 3 are in the development sector, necessarily at an NGO or the corporate communication, the corporate social responsibility cell of a corporate house. The last 2 are in the industry. So depending on your specialization, typically in either a newspaper or news channel or television channel or film production house, advertising agencies, PR agency, something like that. At this moment, that was the last question which was posted online. I'm sure some of you are trying to write in, post follow-up questions. So can we just have this uploaded? Okay. So yes, new questions coming up. Thanks for the technical support. Dhruv, some people are good at expressing themselves through writing. how does this program help in making them come out and speak? Very good question. So you are already good at one skill. That means that you are able to take in information, assimilate it in your mind, and then disseminate it in one form, which is writing. Now half the process you're already good at, which is taking in, assimilating, and disseminating in one form. All that you have to now do is learn the other form. And that is a part of the training that we do, that you are not only able to communicate by writing, but you're also able to communicate with the help of speaking. And not only that, there'll be more. You'll also be able to communicate through visuals, amongst other things. Dhruv again, so internships will be a part of our syllabus. Yes, absolutely. Sayani, what is the cutoff for SMC and set exams? I've already answered this question. Don't bother about this. Prakhar, there are institutions which provide PGD. I would suggest, I would guess that is postgraduate diploma, 1 year in journalism, and institutions which provide masters, 2 years degree in journalism. What is the difference? The difference is very clearly there is one of the program would be a diploma and the other program would be degree. Please remember that only universities, as they are recognized by the University Grants Commission and they are a part of the AIU, are empowered to award degrees. But other academic organizations may offer you a diploma program. So what is the difference? A degree will help you study further. A diploma will not help you study further. That's the only difference from your perspective as I look at it. So should you do a master's or you should do a postgraduate diploma is a choice that you have to make. How much time do we have? What is your inclination? And do you want to study further thereafter? Obviously, the more time you spend, the better trained you will be. That goes without saying. Sayani, again, 2 questions, one of the other. No, sorry, you have just typed them again, I guess, and the same questions are repeating. Kasturi, what cutoff score in set exam ensure admission in SCMC Mass Comm? Difficult to tell you right now. You've got selected. What specialization should I choose in 3rd year to learn details of direction and other technical jobs in film, audiovisual production? I'm an actor since early childhood and worked at I think I've taken this. Okay. So there is a question about, is this webinar over or is it being continued? I think this was asked during the break, but now I think all the questions which are coming in are the ones which have already been answered. Now all you have to do is, this will be uploaded on the YouTube, on our YouTube channel. You can just scroll back and watch it all over again for all the questions to be answered. If you still have questions, write in on contact us at scmc.edu.in. Right. Thank you very much for being with us. Good day to you and all the best.